What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Basement Show. It's your boy Pete, wishing you a happy Halloween. Hope you're out there having fun, getting lots of candy, staying safe, and giving the kids a fun fright. Not terrorizing, but there's nothing wrong with a good, fun scare every now and then. It builds character, and 'tis the season, right? I got my Lee's Art painted glass, my Jason Voorhees glass. Thank you very much, Liz. If you want one for yourself, hit her up at Lee's_art, appearing right down there on the bottom of the screen. She will be more than happy to paint you up a glass and mail it off to you. So salud. Since it is Halloween, we're going to talk about the top 5 horror comics you've probably never read. Now, you know I like my indie books and my Kickstarters, so for this list, we're going to exclude all of the mainstays like Harrow County, Something is Killing the Children, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Those are great books, but for this, I want to tell you about stuff that probably flew under your radar that is absolutely worth your time. They're some creepy books, they're scary, and they're just great stories. For the occasion, I got my Tales from the Crypt Keeper t-shirt on, because let's face it, when it comes to horror, nothing beats those classic ECs. We're not going to include those, like Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror. None of those are going to be on this list either, but I do hope you get a chance to read those. You can probably pick up like some collected editions on Amazon or eBay or wherever. Maybe a local comic shop even has them. I know they're in hardcovers. But we're going to leave those out, and we're going to talk about some books that you've maybe never even heard of, never even knew were out there, but are definitely worth your time. All right, enough introduction. Happy Halloween, salud, and let's start the countdown. Coming in at number 5 is Cullen Bunn's A Passage in Black. This book is an anthology series of horror short stories. Originally written by Cullen and published as a prose novel by Ohama Bound, the comic was a successful Kickstarter campaign and brought together an amazing team of artists and writers to take Cullen Bunn's work and adapt it into graphic novel form. There are some really twisted stories in here, from zombies to crazy murderers to monsters. A group of men induct a new member when they all take their wives for a moonlit swim in Why Sing the Sirens. Or if you're a fan of H.P. Lovecraft like I am, there are plenty of Lovecraftian stories like Still Waters, which calls to mind the story of Dagon, or For Her Love, which reminded me of a cross between The Void and In the Mouth of Madness, both fantastic Halloween movies to scare the shit out of you. Or the title story, A Passage in Black, about a guy who returns to his mysterious ancestral home, reminiscent of the rats in the walls. And there are lots more. 11 stories total, some absolutely amazingly illustrated in Bernie Wrightson-esque detail, and others drawn cartoony to maybe stave off the insanity of the story itself. And all definitely worth your time. Number 4 is Alan Roberts' Crawl to Me. Crawl to Me is an insane story, insanely illustrated by Alan Robert himself. It centers on Ryan as he struggles to protect his family from what seems to be an evil entity living in the basement crawl space of their new home. This story is a terrifying journey through Ryan's traumatic past as he slowly has to come to terms with shit that has happened and shit that is happening, however unbelievable they both might be. The art is just as crazy as the story, getting more and more haphazard as Ryan descends further into his own madness, with a real gut punch of a twist ending that will leave your jaw on the floor while your brain recites "what the fuck" over and over again. Do yourself a favor and get the comics or the graphic novel. It's only 4 issues, and honestly, it's just nuts. There's no describing this. It's one of the weirdest books I've ever read. Number 3 is Avatar's Night of the Living Dead. What is there to say about this series from the publisher that practically invented R-rated comics? This is a zombie series at its finest. There are 5 regular issues, an annual, and 2 Christmas specials. There's everything you want from an 80s horror. Blood, gore, tits, and more blood and gore. And a slew of variant covers that are sure to meet everyone's horror needs. From standard covers to gore covers to covers that needed to be censored on Midtown Comics' site. I cherry-picked which covers I wanted, but there are ones out there for everybody. They are absolutely fantastically illustrated. And, I mean, if you're a zombie fan, you owe it to yourself to get a hold of Avatar's Night of the Living Dead. At number 2, we've got John Carpenter's Tales for a Halloween Night. This series is written by John Carpenter and a host of other horror writers, and in the vein of EC Comics, these stories are brought to us by various storytelling characters, from a creepy gravedigger to a black cat familiar. There are so many awesome stories in each volume that I could do a whole show talking about any one of them. And I only own volumes 2 and 4. Storm King Publishing just released volume 7 this month. Highlights from the ones I did read include Patterns, about an environmentalist who's really a friend to trees, The Basement, about why you should always find out the history of a house you buy, So Happy, which says a lot about our children's programming, Clown Arms, about childhood nightmares that were maybe more real than you care to remember, and lots more. Each book has about 10 to 12 stories in them, and you can get them on Amazon or probably directly from Storm King Publishing. I actually managed to get this one personally autographed to me when I picked it up at NYCC back in like 2017, and I think maybe this one at the time had just come out. I don't know why they didn't sign this one, but they didn't. Before I get to number 1, a couple of honorable mentions in the form of Brent Lengel's Snow White Zombie Apocalypse and David Cahn's Lovecraft P.I. Since I call these creators friend and I do Kickstarters with them pretty often, I didn't think it was fair to include them in the countdown, but you should definitely check out these books. And if you want a chance to win a couple, stay tuned until the end of the show. Before I get to number 1, everybody, do me a favor, if you're digging this video, if you like the countdown, hit that old thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell while you're at it. It's a small gesture for you, but it really helps us out here at the channel. Alright, without further ado, it's time to reveal the number 1 horror comic you've probably never read. Now, you know me, I'm a big H.P. Lovecraft fan, and I'm always in the market for amazingly illustrated Lovecraft stories. It's so difficult to find good visualizations of Lovecraft's monsters because half the time Lovecraft turns around and says, "You can't imagine what I'm seeing, it's so horrible." And you're sitting there like, well, try, because I'm just reading it, and sometimes I'm too sober to let my imagination run away with me. Lovecraft has a way of describing the entities in his stories as unbelievably indescribable. Well, Gao Tanabe's At the Mountains of Madness does a fantastic job, an amazing job, the best job I've ever seen of bringing H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness to life. They are done in manga style. The artwork is absolutely amazing. Volume 1 starts out with the finding of the first Arctic expedition and the frozen elder things, and everything from the dissections all the way to the beginning of the journey into the Black Mountain Range. And Volume 2 is just the heart of the story, the journey into the Mountains of Madness, down into the temple, the penguins, and the thing that I love the most about this is the Shoggoth. It's such a difficult thing to envision, like to truly grasp the horror of it, and this book does it. The only time we've really ever seen a Shoggoth in mainstream is Lovecraft Country, which was not a bad show, but the Shoggoth left me pretty cold. It was like a reject from the set of Hellboy. Like, this is not Samael. I don't need a dog with a bunch of little eyes on it. I need a pulsating, disgusting, oozing thing that is literally, as Lovecraft said, utterly indescribable. And no, I'm not going to show you what the Shoggoth looks like. That was the best part of this book for me, and I'm not going to spoil it for any of you. You owe it to yourself, if you're a Lovecraft fan, to get a hold of these 2 graphic novels. At the Mountains of Madness, my absolute number 1 horror comic that you've probably never read, but hopefully you did. Let me know if you did. Let me know what horror comics you're reading. Drop a comment on this video, and that's all you need to enter into the newest basement contest. I have a bunch of stuff to give away to you guys that have been bestowed upon me by Brent and David to bestow upon you. We will be giving away Snow White Zombie Apocalypse issues 1 and 2, signed by Brent Lengel, as well as Miskatonic High meets Lovecraft PI Paranormal Investigator, issues 1 and 2, plus a Shub Nagorath sticker and card and poster and a whole slew of other awesome stuff. Want to win some cool stuff? Of course you do. Who doesn't want free comics? All you got to do, drop a comment on this video. Let us know if you read any of these horror comics that I put on this list. Let us know if there's any other horror comics that I should have put on the list that didn't, and I'll totally make a part 2 to this. I had a lot of fun doing it. Let us know if you like the video. Let us know if you hate the video. Who cares? Any and every single comment is an entry for you to win that stuff. And there will be multiple winners. I've got quite a few things here to give away. So the next show, that'll be in about 2 weeks or so. That's when we'll draw the winner out of that old magic hat. You guys know how to get in touch with us. Hit us up, questions@Pete'sBasement.com, Facebook.com/Pete'sBasement, Instagram, Twitter, etc. @Pete'sBasement. Thanks as always for tuning in. Thank you to all of our patrons for sticking with us. Salud, happy Halloween, happy reading, and stay safe and have fun. Pete's Basement is copyrighted 2021. Ripped Productions. All rights reserved, so go fuck yourself. God, I got a burp. That was for Ramon. But they're definitely worth your time. They're awesome stories. Now, don't fall.